Alright guys, this is the third video for today. We are going to talk about uh, price and I hope I'll be able to give you a good understanding of it. So let's begin. I mean, it's not a very difficult topic, but since I'm covering everything in the specification, why should I leave this? So first of all, what is the importance of the price? So what price does is it reflects the value or worth that people are willing to put on a good or service. So there are many uncountable goods in the world, right? And how do we know which good is more valuable? So what price does is it puts a value on that good. This will depend on the satisfaction or utility that they will gain from that good or service. How much satisfaction does it provide you with, right? So that depends. So the reason why Apple products are so highly priced are because like people get a huge amount of satisfaction from it, and also like there are costs in making it, etc., etc. But in the end, it's its use and the satisfaction that it provides that puts the price on it. If there is an increase in demand for a product, this suggests that it delivers greater utility. Of course, I mean, why else would there be a great demand for that product? The price of the product will rise because if there is a great demand, well, the producers will think, okay, there is a great demand for it. Let's increase the price. We'll get more profit. So why not? The price of the product will rise, reflecting this increased value in the market as a whole. This gives a signal to producers as to what they should produce and how they should distribute their products. So, I mean, if there is a huge amount of demand, right? Now producers see, oh, okay, there is a huge amount of demand, but we can't produce enough for everyone. So, what should we do? So, we increase the price. As a result, less consumers will be able to buy the product. But they will do this while making sure that everything that they produce has the highest probability of being sold. Thus, they won't have any excess supply. As prices reflects worth, firms will produce what consumers want to buy, meaning that the mechanism is efficient. Okay, so now the concept of equilibrium price. By the way, just so you know, we are on unit 2.4, and this is all we are going to cover in this video. So what is equilibrium price? So equilibrium price is the price at which demand is equal to supply. So what do I mean with that? So let's make our usual demand supply graph. The reason why I keep on making it in front of you all is so that you remember how to make it. I could even just show you an image, but that would not help you in remembering it. So this is our y-axis, and what always goes on the y-axis? The price. Oh, I need the pen. I'm just labeling P for price. Do not label just P. Write full price in the exam. And Q for quantity. Now the demand, as we know, as the price increases, the demand decreases. So this will be our demand curve. It's just a general demand curve, not taking on to any values. And as we know, as the price increases, the supply increases. So this will be your supply curve, right? And now where they meet this point is the equilibrium price. EP for equilibrium price. And now if you want to calculate how much revenue you would generate through this equilibrium price, is what you do is, so you see this is here, right? You go here, and you go here, and you calculate the area. So suppose this is, let's say again 40, and this is, let's say 100. So 40 pounds. This is your 100. So now your revenue would be 40 times 100, which is 4,000. So this is how you make a diagram to calculate equilibrium price and the revenue generated. So equilibrium price is the price at which demand is equal to supply. So what is the importance of this equilibrium price? So when you have an equilibrium price, this ensures that you know exactly how much you should be supplying. And because you know the demand and you understand how much you should supply and at what price, right? So in this example, the firm will know that they should supply 100 units at the price of 40 pounds to ensure that they gain the maximum revenue. Because if they make the price higher, they won't get enough revenue. I mean, they potentially could, but it's best when they keep the equilibrium price. So all at this price, all products will be sold. So that's the guarantee. That's the guarantee, theoretically at least. Equilibrium quantity is the quantity which. So this is the definition that you should remember. Equilibrium quantity is that quantity bought and sold at which quantity demand is equal to quantity supplied. Very easy to understand. All buyers can purchase everything they want, and all sellers can supply everything they want. The market has cleared. There is nothing left to buy or sell. Now I just showed you how you have made the diagram. So okay, now you should understand the concept of excess demand and excess supply. So excess demand occurs when demand is greater than the supply. Like let's say for a product, the demand is continuously increasing and increasing and increasing. Now the firms see that we cannot produce enough. I mean the supply is not enough at the current moment. So the firms think, what should we do? So there are two things that firms can do. So what firms can do is they can raise their price, and as a result, what would happen is as you raise the price, the demand will be less, and so the supply would be sufficient. The existing supply would be sufficient. Alternatively, they could increase the supply and leave price the same. Okay, so they see, okay, there is a very high demand. Well, we can leave the price the same. Let's produce more. This is good for the firm, but bad for the consumer. So if there is an excess demand, it's always good for the firm, because that means they have more chances to gain more profits. Now, excess supply occurs. Well, okay, we are producing a lot, but okay, there is no demand for it. This means that firms will have to lower their price in order to sell their product. Because if you want the demand to be increased, you need to lower the price. Well, it will not necessarily mean that it will create demand, but if there is an existing demand, it will increase it. Alternatively, they could reduce supply and leave price the same. Well, the reduce supply, of course. So that's that way. Well, when you have excess supply, that means you have extra cost, right? Because if the product is not being sold, it's just an extra cost for you. So that's what you want to eliminate. Now, this is bad for the firm, but good for the consumer. So, supply and demand diagrams can be used to understand the effect of changes in equilibrium market prices. An increase in demand will we'll see the demand curve shift upwards and to the right from D to D1. So, okay, if I don't know. Oh, I could just zoom, yeah. So at this point, if you see D, let's say at given point of time, this was the existing demand for a product at this price. Now, let's say at another point of the year, the existing demand at the same price was higher. So this we see increase in demand, we see by a shift. But this increase in demand hasn't been caused by a price, because if it had been caused by a price, it would be only displayed on this line. Since it is on this line, it has become higher due to various other factors, anything except price, such as like taste and fashion of the consumers. At this point, we'll have a new market equilibrium. So now since demand has increased, now the equilibrium will also shift to the right. So this means that the firms can supply more and at a higher price. Now decrease in demand, well, it will just lead to the opposite situation. I should not waste my time on explaining that, because you should be able to figure that out yourself. Now increase in supply, well, an increase in supply will see the supply curve shift downwards and towards the right. So what will happen is, this was your demand. Oh, sorry, this was your supply. Let me just present it here. At given point of time, you were supplying this amount of goods, this amount of units at this point, at this price, right here. And when, well, due to other factors, anything except price, what happened is, you began to supply more for the same price. As a result, the equilibrium moved to the right but downwards. This is like just the way to understand the graphs. Now, well, this is the just opposite of that. You can just read it. And candidate should be okay. Yeah. So basically, now with the demand and supply, what you should know that there are many types of markets, and you should be able to apply these concepts in the 6 markers especially, which will I'll make a video on that, on how to attempt 6 markers in the future. And so these are some more key definitions that you should understand. So the commodity market refers to all raw primary commodities. Apologies for that if you heard some sound. Soft commodities are grown and harvested. Example: coffee and wheat. Hard commodities are extracted. Example: oil and copper. So these are all raw materials, and the market for these are known as the commodity market. Now, agriculture, you know what this is. Nothing to do with that here. Housing market focuses on residential real estate. So there is a shortage of suitable housing in the UK. It's in the most okay. Increase in population have seen higher demand. So now, since there is a higher demand for housing, here you need to have a higher supply, right? Because you need to house more people. So there is no other alternative that you can use here. And this is the sports and leisure market, covers sports, recreation, etc. Now this is your so this is how you calculate revenue, which I just taught you. And well, yep, this is here, and that's it. We come to the end of this topic. You have understood everything you need to know about price. You would probably not get many questions about this topic because there are many more important topics to cover in the course. But it's always good to understand what you're being taught. Alright, guys, thank you very much. If you like the video, please subscribe and put a like. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.